Hey, I am running coach and elite trail runner Sandy Nightpaver. I just ran a trail half marathon over the weekend. It went well, ended up first place, felt really strong. And so I wanted to use the experience to give you some tips on how to run strong in a trail half marathon, even a road half marathon or other distances. So let's start. Let's talk pacing because this is so important, especially for a trail half marathon with lots of hills or even a road race with lots of hills. Really any race, pacing is going to be really important. For this race, it started off with a 2-mile road loop before you start a very long, big climb. Most of this race was actually one long, big uphill, and then you have a steep downhill to finish. So the plan was to do the 2-mile loop fairly easy. It's always tricky for me. I've done this race a lot. It's always tricky to pace the loops. Sometimes I went out too hard and have not run well on the first climb because of that. So this time I took it off really easy, maybe a little too easy, but I did get the Strava CR on the first climb of the race. And so I think starting off easy was definitely better than starting off too fast. Now I say easy and that's relative towards racing. You know, it's probably in my head what I thought closer to marathon effort would be. And I did that on purpose because I knew that this half, because of the altitude and the climbing and the technical trails, it was going to be about a 2-hour race. So that ended up working really well. Again, I felt really strong climbing. And most importantly with this race was to really finish strong on the last major climb. So as I said, the race mostly climbs, then it does a short, steep technical downhill, and then you do a steep technical uphill. And that is where I took the lead in the race on that last steep climb. And, you know, pacing had a lot to do with that, about really feeling strong at the finish. And I was also really happy with how good I felt on the descent. So the takeaway for everybody is to have a pacing plan. Know how you want to run the race. If it is a trail half, especially look at the course profile and kind of plan out in your head how you want to pace the race and to set yourself up to feel strong towards the end. Now let's take a step away from the race and talk about training. So what you always want to do, whether it's a half or shorter or longer race, you always want to have a variety of different runs. So always short intervals, longer tempo intervals, consistency with mileage, longer runs. But because this was a half, I did focus on a lot of shorter intervals, and my tempos never got that long because I was more focused on speed. And so I didn't do like very long, what I'd call like more marathon up tempos, though I did push some long runs because this half marathon wasn't my goal race. But I think all that, it's really important for a half marathon. Like really just, it's simple. I know you've heard it before, short speed intervals and different ranges. Sometimes you do 5K repeats, maybe you do 200s at mile race pace. Maybe you do intervals at 10K race pace, and then you go into like half marathon road workouts. So it's a variety of stuff, and it all adds up. And there's no secret to that. You know, you just build it into your training. All the higher running training plans have a variety of different workouts. And so I really am big on practicing what I preach in my own training. Even though this is a trail half marathon, I still thought the track and road workouts were very important, especially for finishing strong and being able to feel fairly comfortable even on the first 2-mile road loop and finishing off on some flatter terrain. I often get asked on motivation to get in every single run, and I think I'm at the point where I don't need a lot of motivation because it's just a habit to get out the door. I don't think about it. I just do it for the most part. Winter is sometimes trickier, but what I do that works really well is I always start thinking thoughts that I know will build some momentum. Not only thoughts, just some movements. That's why a warm-up can be so important before a run. Just do something to get your body moving. Or another way I motivate myself, especially if I'm doing something in the evening, which I don't love doing doubles, I'll start listening to music and stuff like that. And then I also think thoughts that help me. I don't let the thoughts about skipping or reasons to not do the second run or workout become my main focus. If I start thinking those thoughts, I immediately start thinking thoughts that are going to build momentum to allow me to do what I want. And so I'm so practiced at this. And I want to point that out, I practice it a lot. And so that's what's important for everybody else, to practice this, because then it becomes a habit where you just don't even think about it anymore. And so again, like motivation, I don't really need it. I enjoy what I do. I also focus on seeing how much fun I can have on every single run, whether it's cold and rainy outside, or it's a beautiful day, or my legs are just tired. Like there's always something good to focus on. And when you train that kind of thinking, training, it's honestly not as hard because you're just looking forward to getting out there and doing the work. Now let's talk about what really helped me stay strong towards the end of the race, especially on that last steep climb. I was very committed to feeling strong on that climb, and so I had a nutrition plan to match it. For gels, I took actually 2 of these dark chocolate mint gels from Unived. So let me see, about 110 calories, did have some caffeine in it. And I took one about 5.5 miles. I kind of nibbled it, and so I don't think I totally finished it, closer to mile 6. And then I took another one, I believe right around 8.5 miles in. So that was my main source of calories. Now, hydration, as some people know, I preach about hydration a lot. I did 1.5 soft flasks. So 1 soft flask is 17 ounces. And I started off with this Elite hydration mix, and this is my baby. Unived was amazing enough to make this product for me, because this product is my idea, and I literally use this every single day. And I was actually chatting with the Unived founder, and he started using it every day too, because we both feel like it makes a huge difference. So what this is, what it says, it's a hydration mix. So it's mainly for hydration. It does have a little bit of calories in it, but the main purpose of the drink is to feel hydrated. And so it does have a lot of sodium, more than other products, because most hydration products don't have enough sodium to meet the needs of an endurance athlete. And sodium is so important for your muscles being able to contract well. So sometimes if your legs feel heavy, or like you can't get your muscles to work as well as you want, it could be because you're just not getting enough sodium, especially if you're drinking a ton of water and not having a lot of electrolytes with it. That could be a huge problem. So I'm a big believer in this drink. If you're interested in learning more about the importance of hydration, the Huberman Lab podcast, he's done a few really good podcasts on salt and endurance athletes. He just came out with one maybe 2 weeks ago, as you're seeing this, all about salt. But he has done another one that's even more focused on sodium and athletes. So I know this sounds like a plug, but again, like Unived made this because this is something I wanted, because I really believe in a product like this. So if you're interested in checking it out, I will put it in the description below. And a quick overview of the gear I used for this race. For shoes, I use Topo Athletic Mountain Racers. That's my go-to trail shoe, especially for racing. It's so good on rocky terrain. I actually did use a hydration vest, which I know might sound weird for a half marathon, but I really don't like holding things in my hands. And the race Vesta, which I used, is very light, and so that was perfect for the race. I used my Roka sunglasses, and of course I had my Rabbit racing kit. So what are your questions about half marathon training or training for other races? Please let me know in the comments below, and I will try to answer what I can. Next up for me is Behind the Rocks 50K. Again, all in the build up for the Canyons endurance run, 100K towards the end of April. If you're interested in using a half marathon training plan or even training plans for 5Ks up to 100-mile trail races, check out higherrunning.com. Thank you so much for watching. Truly do appreciate it. Until next time, keep running wild.